Hey everyone. Okay, I am so excited because today I'm talking about one of my very, very favorite topics, and that is supercharged habits and the small steps you need to create them. Now, many of you may never have heard of supercharged habits, probably because it's a term that I personally have used to identify habits in my life that have a ripple effect. I found that a lot of habits are not isolated just to what they are. And this is especially true in the case of habits associated with bigger goals, especially multi part goals. Identifying a supercharged habit allows you to take a little bit of extra time and be more patient with yourself in that initial creation because you know that the effect of it, once implemented, once it becomes part of your routine, will be so massive that it's worth tweaking it to get it just right. And I know for some of you, that's a massive mindset change because a lot of us have been going into habits with these very big all or nothing ideas and really pressuring ourselves to create massive habits and overnight change. And y'all, that never works. But what I have found is that the happy medium of working on a habit with broader impact allows me to give myself a little bit more grace and a little bit more patience in the process because I know the payoff will be so big. And that really matters. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is Upcycled Adulting, and my name is Cassie Feld. I'm the founder, head coach, and CEO of Upcycled Adulting. And I am here to help you upcycle your real life into your best life by creating healthy habits, growing to accomplish your goals, and overcoming obstacles. And today we're kind of combining a lot of these things in this lesson about supercharged habits. Why? Because supercharged habits really catapult you into a place of becoming a goal crusher very easily. And they help you overcome a lot of the common obstacles people face when trying to create new habits. And of course, it's all about habits. So, this is very exciting. Now, what is a supercharged habit? So, first, I want to talk about that in a little more detail. And I know I touched on it in the introduction, but a supercharged habit is a habit that you create that ends up creating impact in your habits in an adjacent area of your life or something entirely different, some entirely different arena. Some very common supercharged habits are exercising, loading and unloading the dishwasher, and even this is kind of a funny one, even eating in your kitchen. I know that sounds like a silly thing to be a habit that is supercharged, but it really impacts so many other areas of your life. Now, right about now, you might be like, what do those things even have in common? And what they all have in common is that once you implement them into your life, other things start to change around them. The first supercharged habit I actually discovered was exercise. I used to have this crazy harebrained idea that I was going to lose a lot of weight very quickly, actually, an amount of weight I shouldn't be losing in the first place, very quickly. And I was going to do it by exercising 2 hours a day, eating zero sugar, counting all of my calories, and drinking a gallon of water a day. That's what I was going to do. And I took on all of those habits as part of my goal. And obviously, I'm sure no one will be surprised to know that I implemented them on January 1st. And every single year, I would fall on my face. Every single year, I would get halfway through January, I would lose all sense of motivation and I would have to quit. And usually, the first thing that went because of how outrageously demanding it was actually the exercise. I could not exercise 2 hours a day, and I could not give myself the grace or the space or the self awareness or the realistic expectation of exercising less. And when I moved past this and out of this idea, I started to think about which of these habits was most impactful. Now, around this same time, I decided to take up yoga because I kept hearing everyone say that yoga was the best way to get long, lean muscle and to get into shape and to lose weight and all of these other things. And I really, by the way, do enjoy yoga. And I was just happy to hear there was something I could do besides running that would help me get in shape. So I started doing yoga. And I went to these yoga classes a few times. And then afterward, I really got brave and I asked the yoga instructor how she was staying in shape. What kind of diet was she following? I wanted to up level. I was like, I have come to yoga 4 times. It's time for me to be doing something more, which I'm sure many of you have done as well. And so I asked her, "What nutrition plan are you following?" And I thought for sure she was gonna tell me she was on a certain calorie count or that she was on a Mediterranean diet or she was vegetarian or I don't know. And I was just gonna adopt whatever she was doing, eat the same thing she was eating, right? I mean, I would have paid her. She just wrote down everything she ate every day, handed it to me, and then I could eat that the next day. And what she said is that she never paid any attention to what she ate. And I literally could not believe this because this was probably the most fit person I had ever seen. She definitely was in her 40s and she had like 3 kids. And I was like, "How are you the most fit person I've ever seen in your 40s with 3 kids and you pay 0 attention to what you eat?" And what she said really struck me and set me off in this place of truly understanding what a supercharged habit is and how it works and being able to identify more of them. She said that because of her practice as a yogi that she had gotten so connected with her body that she just ate what her body needed and that she didn't care about any of the rest of it. If she wanted a cookie because she craved a cookie, she ate it. But most of the time, because she was exercising, she ended up eating relatively well and relatively clean. The exercise was causing this nutrition habit change that she wasn't even trying to create. Wow. And so, of course, I asked her, "Okay, but how much water are you drinking?" And she said, "I just do the same thing. I drink as much water as my body needs." Okay. This whole thing was relatively mind blowing to me, but I thought, what if there's something to this? Now, I have to tell you, you might be thinking right now, well, Cassie, that works for you, that works for the yogi, but that wouldn't work for everybody. But I have taught countless people this exact same thing, and it consistently works. But here's why, and this is very, very important. I'm not telling people to go to the gym 2 hours a day and not worry about what they're eating or how much water they're drinking. I'm saying start small. Start really small with a supercharged habit, and other habits will fall into place. Now, what I mean by this is when I heard this, I thought that is incredibly cool. Also, I only went to that yoga class like 2 more times because going to a gym is problematic for me. Like it doesn't work for me. And what I realized though is if I could create an exercise habit where all I was thinking about is I'm going to start exercising every day that maybe I would start eating healthier. Maybe I would start sleeping better. And maybe I would drink more water. And guess what, y'all? That's exactly what happened. So, for the price of creating one habit, I ended up creating 4. All right. Now, this might sound really wild to you if you haven't ever had this experience, but one of the things that's so incredible about this is that the reason I was taking on so much, the reason I was saying I had to go to the gym 2 hours a day and I couldn't eat a cookie and I couldn't and I was being so restrictive about this and so all or nothing is because I felt like I was behind. I had years of failure behind me and I was like, if I had done this last year, this would be done. And now I'm behind. And so now I need to do everything at once. But what I ended up discovering is that all I really needed to do was concern myself with locking down a supercharged habit, and that was exercise. A lot of times it's only one thing that we need to adjust, and then everything else comes into play. It's like dominoes. If you stand up dominoes everywhere and you have one individual domino and you walk around your whole house and knock down one at a time, it's going to take a long time. But if you line them up in a row and you can figure out what that first one is and you push it, they're all going to go down in quick succession. And you're not going to have to waste so much time and energy and mental power and decision making skill running around trying to find all the dominoes and knock them down. All you have to do is find the one, the supercharged one. Now, why does exercise work in a health capacity? Well, when you exercise, you're naturally more thirsty. You naturally wear yourself out. You reduce stress hormones that are causing you to hold on to excess weight and impacting other health outcomes. And because you're exercising, you're more mindful of your body, more connected to it, and more aware of what you need to do to nourish yourself well without all the food obsession hangups. That makes a huge difference. So, how do you start that? Well, the best way to start it is just put on your shoes. I'm not even kidding. Just put on your shoes. For so many years, I would spend 2 weeks working on all of my health habits. One year, I even did it for a month and a half. Because, y'all, that 30 days to create a habit, big, huge lie. Not at all true. I did it for a month and a half, and then I just stopped. That happened for 20 years. When I came upon this piece of information, I took a couple months to create a daily exercise habit. And within less than 3 months, I was exercising, sleeping, drinking all the water I wanted to or could even imagine drinking, more than I ever had in my life. I had reduced my stress level significantly. I was eating regularly healthy, lots of vegetables, by the way, and fruit. And I was losing weight, had more energy, no headaches, no brain fog, no fatigue because I put on my shoes. See, the thing is when you do find a supercharged habit, you can give yourself more time to create it, knowing that the impact will be so big that it's worthwhile. When you think about your supercharged habit, whatever that may be, for example, if you are trying to get your house in order and create good housekeeping routines, all right, rather than doing that all at once, focus on one thing, one supercharged habit. Now, I have to tell you this there are usually three things that are creating problems with the home situation, okay? One is too much stuff. You've got clutter and stuff. So you need to stop buying things. Okay. You need to get rid of things. Two is dishes. Starting the dishwasher every night and emptying it every morning will change the entire way your household functions. And three is laundry. What we tend to do so many times, though, is we create these giant ideas of what it's going to be. You are not going to eliminate all the clutter in your living room tomorrow. And that doesn't even need to be the goal. You are not going to wash all the clothes for your family, right? You're going to collect them. You're going to separate them. You're going to run all these separate loads. You're going to sit down. You're going to fold them all into tidy, perfect squares. Then you're going to get them all back into the drawers. Okay. And then, spoiler alert, everybody's going to change for bedtime and you're going to have a whole nother basket of laundry. It's overwhelming. So, what we need to do is reduce that barrier, make it easy. Just like you're not going to go to the gym 2 hours a day, you're going to focus instead on putting on your shoes and your exercise clothes. Then you're going to focus on getting yourself into the gym, whether that's at home or at the gym. Or better yet, by the way, you're simply going to put on your exercise clothes and walk to the end of your block and come home. You're just going to do that for a while. And that is going to count. You're going to say, yay, I did a great job. In a similar way, if your problem is that your house always feels like a train wreck because you have laundry everywhere, then simply creating the habit of the laundry goes in the hamper, right? Great place to start. The laundry goes into separate hampers, meaning by color. So in our house, by the way, just so you know, children can separate their laundry at about 3 years old. And I know because I have 5 kids. And when I implemented this, all 5 of my kids at 3 years old could say, this is a dark thing. This is a white thing. This is a towel. And that's how we separated our laundry for many, many years. Once you have some of these things in place, it becomes easier to say, oh, look, the darks are full. I'm going to run that. I'm just going to wash it and dry it. When I'm done washing and drying it, I don't care if it goes into the drawer unfolded. I know some of you are cringing right now. But if it reduces your mountain of laundry and that allows you to more easily keep up with and feel like you're keeping up with your home, then it doesn't matter what the inside of the drawer looks like. I'm just here to tell you that. And eventually, over time, there's a high likelihood that you will end up being able to fold those clothes and get them put away. Partly because once you aren't looking at a mountain of laundry, everything else in your house will be easier to manage. Understanding that supercharged habits are so impactful to every other part of your life that creating them can take as long as you need, because once you've got it nailed down, it'll spill everywhere in the best way. Gives you the freedom to really hone in on what you need, what helps you get your habit done, what gets in your way, what makes it hard, where can you get support. And when you can do that, you also will find that you are identifying very important things about your own personal rhythm, your own personal needs, your own personal passions that will allow you to also create other habits, because you'll know things about yourself like, oh, yeah, that just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me to create a habit in the morning. My life is just way too chaotic. And now I know that. And so even when I'm creating a habit that is unrelated, a supercharged habit in a completely different area of my life, I am so much more informed about how to make that happen. Supercharged habits matter. They are vital to being able to create the life that you want to create, to become the person you want to become, without the headache and hassle of trying to individually create a whole lot of habits in succession, or trying to create a whole lot of habits at one time, which is always going to set you up for failure. Always. If you want to know more about supercharged habits or how to identify them, you can attend my free Habit Masterclass on May 17th, 2023. Now, for those of you who are watching this after that date, please know that you can also see a replay of that masterclass and get the workbook inside Inner Circle. And I will go ahead and link that below. You are absolutely amazing, and you are 100% capable of creating the habits that you need to build the life that you want to live, and you deserve that. I will see you soon. Bye, everyone.